Hello and welcome to our show, Health and Wellness, Myths versus Facts. I'm Gargi Rawat. Nutrition is a critical part of health and development. Nutrition helps us to maintain a healthy immune system. If you have type 2 diabetes, well, making the right food choices can help you maintain a healthy weight, control your blood sugar, as well as protect your heart. Now, faced with so many food choices, it's easy to get confused about what you can and can't eat. Well, to clear all those questions and others, and as well as myths surrounding nutrition, we have with us an expert panel to give us the true facts about nutrition in diabetes. Let's introduce our doctors, Dr. Jinesh Veera, diabetologist, Krishna Nursing Home, Mumbai, and Dr. Dheeraj Kishore, CCD Diabetes Professor and Head, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. Thank you so much, doctors, for taking time out to answer all our questions on nutrition and diabetes. Dr. Veera, I'd like to start with you. Now, self-management of diabetes can be a challenging process. How important is the role of the nutrition in the management of diabetes?
Yeah. So see, now India is fastly becoming the diabetes capital of the world. So it is very much necessary for us to now make India the diabetes treatment capital of the world. So for this, the nutrition plays a very important role. Especially in a country like India, managing a nutrition is slightly difficult. Why? Because of two main reasons. Firstly, we have a large diversity. The meal patterns of each and every regions are different. The meal pattern of North is different from that of South. The East is different from the West. So it is very much necessary to give a patient a diet which he will be easily be able to adapt. Second thing, the Indian diet mainly consists of high carbohydrate. Around 65 to 70% of our energy comes from carbohydrate. So for this, it is very much necessary that we replace the excess carbohydrates with say suitable proteins so that we can give our patient a balanced and a healthy diet. Definitely, the diet is the first thing which we need to modify if we want to stop this epidemic of diabetes in our country.
All right. Now, Dr. Kishore, we read a lot about antioxidants. How do these promote good heart health, and what are some of the foods that have the highest amount of antioxidants in your home?
Yeah, your question is wonderful, and it must be well known to all of our viewers. See, the concept of antioxidants initially included as a adjuvant therapy, but now the concept as a prime therapeutic intervention has already been proved in many of these studies. And the oxidative stress concept started from abnormality in the lipid profile of the body. Mainly, you all know that the cholesterol, abnormality of the cholesterol and abnormality of triglyceride and low density lipids. So what this low density lipid do, they put lot of oxidative stress on the body. And under this oxidative stress, there is a very slow inflammatory reactions continues in the body, which ultimately leads to atherosclerosis, means thickening of the vessels of heart, and ultimately leading to most of the cardiovascular disorder, which is commonly known as heart attack or myocardial infarction. So inclusion of the antioxidants is very prime to manage all of these chronic problems, the heart disease or the diabetes or the obesity or the abnormal cholesterol. So these antioxidants, which are mainly can be of two types. First, the fat soluble, which includes beta carotene, which is found very ample in the carrot as well as papaya. Okay, and second one, the alpha tocopherol, which is it's a high amount is present in sprouts and fish. And third one, the water soluble ascorbic acid. We know it vitamin C in a common name, and it is present in most of the vegetable, mainly the citrus vegetable or citrus fruit. So the seasonal vegetable like chilies and tomato, and the fruit orange, guava, all of these contains a very high amount of this ascorbic acid. So we must include these things in our daily dietary chart, In fact, one study which is called Norvas study from Norway, because Norwegian population is well known for their diet and healthy lifestyle. So what they recommend that total vegetable as well as fruit content must be around 300 to 400 gram daily for any person who is having this chronic disorder of hypertension, diabetes, or dyslipidemia or obesity.
All right. Now, Dr. Veera, what is the glycemic index, GI tag, that we see being used a lot for food items? How is it relevant for diet planning for a person who has diabetes?
Yeah, good question. Actually, glycemic index or GI, in simple term, if I put it, it is a measure of how quickly a food item will be able to cause a rise in the blood sugar. It is usually scaled between 0 to 100. And to just give a brief classification, less than 55 are considered as low GI foods. These are usually safe in diabetes. Just to give an example, this includes our whole wheats, whole grains, pulses, oats, probably milk and green leafy vegetables. So your main diet should consist of low glycemic index. Now, between the range of 56 to 70, it is considered as moderate glycemic. This usually include our honey and stuff. And more than 70 is high glycemic index food, and this should be definitely avoided because they cause a sudden and quick increase in your blood sugar. This food usually are our white rice, potatoes, white breads, bakery products like say pastries, cakes, etc. Also, it is very much important not only what to eat, but it is also important how to eat. Why? Because you should take small frequent meals. Avoid too large meals at a time. Avoid too much of fasting or taking the meal too late at night. Because what it causes high fluctuations in your blood sugar. So we just don't want a low glycemic index food, but also the food habit should be also quite good so that we can control the sugars very easily and in an efficient manner so that we don't have too much high surges of sugar as well as too much low hypoglycemia sugar, which also is harmful for the body.
Right. Now, Dr. Kishore, if we talk about, nutrition and healthy eating are also important aspects of any cardiac rehabilitation program. So what types of foods should one eat or foods that one should avoid for better management of a cardiovascular disease?
Yeah, very nice question. In fact, the National Audit for Rehabilitation of Cardiac Disorder have identified 3 risk factors: hypertension, followed by dyslipidemia, abnormal cholesterol, and then the diabetes. All of these are basically component of metabolic syndrome, and they are modifiable risk factor, and they contribute a lot in the cardiac disorder, even post cardiac problem, and post myocardial infarction, or those who are having family history of heart disorders. So these risk factors are very nicely can be modified, and the risk for overall cardiovascular mortality, means death, can be reduced to a remarkable extent. So 3 things should be kept in the mind while preparing the diet and nutrition for cardiac rehabilitation. First one, the choice of carbohydrate. One must choose food which is having low glycemic index, as mentioned by the other panelists. And these are like 100% whole grain cereal and brown rice, oatmeal. All of these are having low glycemic index food. And then the protein, it should be lean protein. Lean protein means the total fat content should be less than 10 gram, and out of that the saturated fat should be less than 5 gram, and total cholesterol should be less than 95 milligram. So this peas, lentils, eggs, and skinless poultry, these are very good source of this lean protein. Now the third part, that is the fat. Which kind of fat should be taken and which kind of fat should be absolutely rejected. So the trans fat means artificial fat, which is mainly present in the junk food or the packed food, must be absolutely discarded. The oil, that's the sunflower seed oil or the pine seed oil, should be included in the food. And few items which have very high content of omega-3 fatty acid, like fish and seafood can be included. And for vegetarian, the sprout and avocado and pomegranate. These three also contains the omega-3 fatty acids. So a balance of this carbohydrate, protein, and fat must be included in the cardiac rehabilitation nutrition program. And not usually we get a diet chart from dietitian, but it is very difficult to have follow these diet recommendations. So one should be very strict in following the recommendations, and must not forget to have the physical activity for at least 30 minutes in a day.
All right, let's talk about fruits, and also, some fruits that one shouldn't eat. Fruits, Dr. Veera, are considered healthy, but for people with diabetes, some fruits can be responsible for an increase in blood sugar. So, which fruits are safe to be consumed by people with diabetes, and are fruit juices equally safe?
Yeah, very much important question, because these questions we get a lot in our OPD. That what are the fruits we can eat? Definitely, first of all, fruits are healthy and definitely should be included in your day-to-day diet. Now, common fruits like papaya, apple, guava, orange are easily available and can be consumed. Say papaya is slightly sweeter, but a slice of papaya and slice of watermelon can definitely be taken. Now, coming to the seasonal fruits like strawberries, cherries, peaches can also be taken, but the amount or the right amount of fruits should be taken. It should not be that we are just munching on fruit. Now, coming to the fruits which increase your blood sugar very rapidly. These include your mango, chiku, custard apple. So these three should be avoided strictly. Mango, of course, it is the flavor of the nation when it comes and people want to have. So I tell my patients who are controlled on diabetes can have a small amount of mango, say half slice of mango in a day, and avoid the rice in a completely that day. Now coming to the second question of fruit juices. Fruit juices should ideally be avoided. Why? Because the whole fruits usually contain dietary fibers. And dietary fibers are important because they maintain the GI index of a fruit to a lower level. So while making a juice, dietary fibers are lost, and then while consuming the juice, you get a sudden and quick peak of your blood sugar. So ideally, your whole fruit, avoid your fruit juice. Of course, no to canned juices, definitely no.
All right, so it's important to keep that in mind, because usually we think all fruits are very healthy, but you have to get the right fruits if you're diabetic. Doctors, will slip into a short break now and return with more questions for you on healthy eating if you have diabetes. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking about nutritious eating when you have diabetes, and what foods to eat, what foods to watch out for. Let's go across to our doctors. And Dr. Kishore, it's said that high triglycerides increase the risk of heart disease. So which food items contain triglycerides?
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful that now the general population have started talking in terms of specific lipid, that's triglyceride or low density lipids, and SDL, that's high density lipids, which is a friendly fat. So initially, there's a awareness due to the social media and through the channels and all. So because now there is a recommendation through the American Diabetes Association and even the National Panel Against Metabolic Syndrome that triglyceride as well as low density lipids. These are independent risk factors to cause cardiovascular disorder, and they are mainly culprit for forming a plaque inside the vessels of the heart, ultimately leading to the so-called heart attack. So, because they altogether put lot of oxidative stress on the body and ultimately leading to the low inflammatory state, that's the atherosclerosis. So, one must be very cautious while choosing a food. The food which have very high triglyceride are basically artificially sweetened food, and that's the fresh or even the fresh or canned juice which are artificially sweetened. The candies, ice cream, cereal, jam, and those artificial creamers, milkshake. These foods contains very high amount of triglyceride, and they put lot of oxidative stress on the body. In fact, all the junk food, they also contains a very high level of trans fat, and they ultimately gets converted into the triglyceride, putting lot of stress on the body and shifting the oxidative redox of body on the left side. Two things must be kept in the mind also, that consumption of alcohol, they also ultimately gets converted into the triglyceride because they are basically empty energies, and the inclusion of good fat must be there in the nutrition. And again, I am repeating that the fresh fish, if salmon and tuna is available to you, if not, then please go for sprouts, peanuts, and few fresh vegetables like broccoli and the cauliflower. They helps in reducing the oxidative stress, and they also helps in fighting those agents which ultimately leads to accumulation of triglyceride in the liver.
All right. Now, Dr. Veera, as obesity is the most important risk factor for diabetes and even for other diabetes-related complications, how will a person know whether he or she is overweight? If the person is overweight, how much weight should he or she lose to get his or her health back on track?
Yeah, so obesity or patient can easily know if he is overweight or no just by calculating what we call as a BMI or a body mass index. It is a quite easy mathematical formula where you just need to put your weight and height and you get your BMI. Usually various apps are also available. People can get it directly. Now, for our Indian scenario, a BMI of more than 23 is considered as overweight, and a BMI of more than 25 or 26 is considered as obese. Now, coming to the target part. The target needs to be individualized from person to person. If a person, say, I would say for giving an example, a young patient, just diabetic and obese, I will definitely go much aggressive to control his weight. If the patient is elderly, having complications like heart procedures, heart surgeries have taken place, he has a kidney or some other problem, definitely we need to be slightly cautious while giving him a weight. Now, the ideal target will be to maintain a BMI between 20 to 23. Now, a good weight loss cannot be just attained by a diet, but also physical activity is much more important. Like my colleague has already said, that a good weight loss, a good diet will help prevent the future complications like heart attacks, strokes, etc. Lastly, it is very much important that in the weight loss regimen, you include the family members of the patient, because they are the ones who will be there with the patient every day. It can definitely boost the morale of the patient so that he can embrace a healthy lifestyle. Because better the weight loss, better sugar control, and definitely in long term, even we can cut down on the say blood pressure or the diabetic condition.
Right, Dr. Kishore, now there are some articles on the internet that say that certain foods can help to reduce blood sugar quickly. Do such food items even exist, or is this just one of those, myths perpetuated online?
Oh, being a traditional Indian, I must accept. Yes, there are a few food items which do have hypoglycemic effect. In fact, in past many patent was been applied, and even more patent will be applied for those food item. So basically, these food item contains certain agents which can lead to hypoglycemia, decrement in the blood sugar level. Like we have right now, we as a therapeutic agent, we have DPP-4 inhibitor as a treatment for diabetes. So fenugreek, you must have listened about the fenugreek. It's a very such methi, has a very good hypoglycemic effect. Cinnamon have very good hypoglycemic effect. Bitter melon, rosemary, dried rosemary, and green tea. Of course, green tea and the coffee, they also helps in decrement of the blood sugar level, provided they are not taken along with the sugar. So yes, we do have a traditional line of spices, traditional spices which have some hypoglycemic effect. In fact, many big randomized controlled trial are needed to prove its efficacy.
All right. Well, thank you so much, doctors, for answering all our questions and telling us about nutritious food and all the do's and don'ts when it comes to food items. Thank you all for watching at home. Goodbye.